Liam, a difficult week for the country, a difficult week for everyone, I'd imagine, involved in football. But the opportunity last Saturday for the world of football to pay the respects to Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah, obviously, really sad news for the whole country, and obviously, opening the stadium here as well. So a little bit of history with the club as well. So, you know, times like that as a country and as people, it's about sticking together and helping each other through sort of moments like that. So, yeah, it's one of those that we have to stick together, move on, and move on to the next game.
And I guess the positive that came from the game being called off or postponed was the fact that you had more time to train and get together with your players to work on the football side of things.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, of course, look, we obviously respect the decision, and we're in Saturday working, so we had it from that angle. We obviously had a solid week where we could train and get more minutes into the group, which given the program that we had in August, it was extremely difficult to actually do any sessions and train, which it kind of hit you even more so last week when you're actually out on the pitch working on things. So we used it as an opportunity to come in and to work and be together as a group and try and move forward and try and find more consistency in some of the aspects that we've seen in games. So we were in working hard at the weekend.
And you've used the word consistency there. Just talking to Jamie Cumming, that's one thing that I said to him. It's about finding those moments that we've seen in matches so far this season, performances that we've seen from individuals and from the team collectively, and tying that all together and making it week in week out, which I suppose is the holy grail, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the one as a group we're striving to try and achieve, which it's the hardest part. When you've got the volume of games and it's so intense the program that being able to have a little bit of sort of time to decompress and breathe is where probably a lot of the consolidation of learning takes place. When it's back to back 2 games a week, you don't really have that reflection time which you need to learn and to in order to try and find and achieve consistency. So it's definitely in the group. We've seen it in training again this week. We've seen it in moments throughout different games. The really high level moments that we're looking for is the challenge is now is to try and repeat it consistently. Not just week to week, but throughout 95-minute period performances as well.
And I guess despite it being early in the season, and the last thing you want to do is be left behind in the division. There's teams at the top part winning, winning, winning. The last thing you want to do is be too far adrift from those teams. You want to just keep an eye and keep in touch with them while you are developing and transitioning.
Yeah, you know me quite well. I don't spend too much time looking at the table, to be totally honest. I think my biggest energy, my biggest amount of work has to go into the players and into the team to make sure that we can, that we can perform, that we understand and have clarity in what the plan is and how we play. In order for the players to to affect the league table, that's ultimately what takes care of itself. If you turn up and you get it right on a match day, so that's where my energy's gone. That's where the staff's energy's gone, and that's what where the players' energy's gone into trying to improve and understand performance.
We talked about the extra period of time without a match to do some more training. Obviously, it gives players like Josh McEachran an opportunity to get fitter. Is he close?
Josh, so we had an internal game on Saturday, and Josh joined in that, and he's in full training. He's been full training for a period. Just needs some building up in terms of the 11v11 conditional work that's required, but he's very close. He's in a really good spot, so he's going to be a big plus having him around it soon.
Yeah, he'll be a big bonus, won't he, to have him back in and amongst the playing staff.
Yeah, definitely. Not only his composure and his calmness he has, but ultimately just his quality. He's so key in build up for us and how we play. His understanding so good and his quality is so good. So be a huge boost for the group. Having him back.
We've spoken to Jamie Cumming, and seems a very level-headed young man with for a young age, so quite a lot of experience, as he explained to us. He's doing a great job, and actually has been important in some of those games and made some fine saves this season.
Yeah, I thought he was terrific at Exeter. I thought he was, he was the real big positive to come out of the game for me. And I think even obviously we had him obviously the back end of last season, and I see the progress he's made in from the start of the season to now. He's really matured. He's got his emotional control's a lot better in terms of not getting frustrated or anxious, or getting annoyed when things aren't quite going right in build up. For example, he's actually stepped up to become quite a leader for the group, which is something that he's started to develop, and something that we'll continually challenge him to do, because it's definitely in there. He's got the leadership qualities, and he's been a real big positive so far.
Bolton up next then, and a side who had a little sticky period, but they've back-to-back victories, and they're another big side in this division that have had former Premier League status, that will be wanting to get out and back to the Championship.
Yeah, big club, big history, big recent history, and a really tough game. If you got some real quality in the side, and extremely well organised, so it's it's going to be a really tough game, but it's one that we're really looking forward to. I think we having the volume of games, and then going obviously an extended period not, it's kind of, especially obviously off the back of Exeter, is one where that myself and the players are really looking forward to getting out there and getting going again. So yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game, but one that we're ready for.
And just finally on the players, obviously there'll be some of the new players and some of the existing players as well. They'll be just maybe need a little bit of psychological help with the fact that the victories haven't come thick and fast this season, and presumably that's a big part of your job as well. Just keeping everything calm and assure them that everything's going to be okay if they keep working hard.
Yeah, definitely. I think the belief and the confidence, and keeping it in the sweet spot is as much on the players as it is us. Obviously, we have we have to make sure that we give them clarity, which probably gives them confidence. When they're stepping on the pitch, and then grabbing the opportunity. I think how we opened this interview, there's so many things and so many reminders that in the grand scheme of things, we're lucky people. We're fortunate to do what we do, and sometimes the things that we do really stress over and seem like huge major issues, major pressures. Actually, when you step back sometimes and you see the bigger picture, actually it gives you a little reminder, on perspective, which I think is also important. So that's the other bit. I want the players to go out and really relish the challenge of performing, and not be fearful of it, and step up and bring their personality, bring their qualities to the team, so that we can as a group go and work to achieve a result.
Thanks, Liam. Thank you.
Cheers.
On your week of training, Liam, we've seen Will Grigg come in and out a lot recently in his comeback, and obviously you mentioned that Josh Cody didn't have a full pre-season underneath him. How big has this last week been for those two guys in particular?
Yeah, it's been good, especially JJ coming in from Rotherham. It takes time to develop relationships. It takes time to develop understanding who you're playing with, what their qualities are, and what qualities you've got as a player for the players already in place to understand it. So having that, we've obviously had a few kind of in-house variations on 11v11, which has allowed players to get the physical work, but also the key of relationships and aligning and understanding each other's games. So we've it's been a really beneficial week for us.
And we mentioned it briefly with Jamie working alongside David Martin. I mean, he's obviously still out there looking for clubs, I assume. But how's he settled in I suppose his coaching role?
Yeah, he's still obviously playing as well. But in terms of the coaching side, he's been a big plus. I think he's his character first and foremost. How really calm, really experienced, really knowledgeable. He's been a big help, obviously, in terms of filling in some of the aspects and taking on some of the bits that that Pricey was doing for us. So he's been really helpful, that's for sure.